The hum of the engines had always calmed Amelia Thompson. Flying, for her, was freedom. She wasn't a pilot, at least not anymore. She had trained years ago, during college, inspired by her father who spent his life in the cockpit of commercial planes. But after his sudden death, Amelia had walked away from aviation, burying her passion beneath the practical responsibilities of everyday life. She became a teacher, a caretaker for her younger brother, and someone who avoided flights whenever she could. But fate is never without irony. At 32, Amelia boarded Flight 327 from Chicago to Denver, a routine trip meant to reunite her with her estranged brother for the first time in years. She sat in seat 14A, a window seat, staring at the tarmac while the crew performed final checks. Around her, passengers settled into their lives in motion, a mother calming a toddler, a businessman flipping through spreadsheets, two college students laughing over shared earbuds. The plane lifted off smoothly. Amelia pressed her forehead against the cool window and allowed herself to breathe. Perhaps this trip would be the bridge she and her brother needed to cross years of silence. The failure. At 30,000 feet, it began. A sound, not a scream but a hollow, grinding roar, shuddered through the cabin. Drinks rattled, overhead bins trembled, the seatbelt sign blinked on with a sharp ding. A flight attendant's smile faltered as she hurried down the aisle. Then the captain's voice, strained and clipped. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're experiencing some technical difficulties with our left engine. Please remain calm and seated. We are working on it. Working on it." Passengers exchanged nervous glances. Amelia's heart slammed against her ribs. She knew the sound, the pitch of an engine gasping for power. She gripped her seat as the plane lurched, dipping before leveling again. Oxygen masks didn't fall, yet, but fear filled the cabin like smoke. The businessman muttered prayers. The toddler wailed. The laughter of the college students was gone. Amelia closed her eyes. Not now, please, not now. But her mind wasn't thinking of herself, it was thinking of 150 souls trapped in a steel bird suddenly broken. The call for help. A flight attendant appeared, her face pale. "Is there anyone on board with aviation or piloting experience?" Silence. Whispers spread like wildfire. No hands went up. The attendant's eyes scanned desperately, then fell on Amelia. She hadn't spoken, hadn't moved, but something in her posture, a stillness, a certainty, caught the woman's attention. "You," she said quietly, kneeling. "Do you know something about this?" Amelia hesitated. She hadn't flown in over a decade. She had no license, no authority. But the alternative, doing nothing while chaos unfolded, was unthinkable. "I trained," she admitted. "Small aircraft, years ago." The attendant's relief was immediate. "Come with me, please." Amelia's legs shook as she rose. Every eye followed her down the aisle. She wasn't dressed for heroism, just jeans, a sweater, and a necklace her father had given her before his last flight. Yet to those passengers, she was suddenly more than a stranger. She was hope. In the cockpit door clicked open. Inside, the atmosphere was suffocating. Warning lights blazed across panels. The captain wrestled with the controls, sweat glistening on his brow. The first officer barked numbers, his voice fraying. "We're losing altitude," he snapped. "Navigation's glitching. We've got one engine bleeding power." The captain glanced at Amelia. "Who are you?" "Former pilot in training. Not licensed," she admitted. "But I understand what's happening." The first officer scoffed. "With respect, ma'am, this isn't a classroom simulator. We're in the sky." But the captain, desperate, said, "Let her speak." Amelia studied the readings. Her heart pounded, but her training came alive, like a language she hadn't spoken in years but never truly forgotten. "Your left engine isn't just failing, it's overheating. You're compensating too much with the right. That's why you're rolling." The captain blinked. She was right. Amelia took a steady breath. "You need to feather the left engine, reduce the drag. Relying on it halfway will kill us faster than shutting it down completely." The captain hesitated, then nodded. "Do it." The first officer moved, reluctant but obedient. The plane steadied, its groaning eased. For the first time since the chaos began, silence returned. A passenger, no longer. The pilots exchanged a look. Amelia's presence wasn't just helpful, it was essential. They began asking her questions, decisions she hadn't expected to make. And she answered, her voice firm despite the tremor in her chest. She could hear her father's voice inside her, calm and wise. "The sky doesn't forgive mistakes, Amelia. But it always rewards clarity." Minutes stretched like hours. The crew rerouted toward Denver. But turbulence threatened them, storms rolling across their path. The instruments flickered, unstable. Autopilots fried, the captain muttered. Amelia looked at him. Then we do it by hand. And so she sat beside them, not a licensed pilot, not even officially authorized, guiding hands on the controls, recalculating headings, grounding them in procedures they were too panicked to remember. The captain flew, but Amelia led. The cabin below. In the cabin, rumors swirled. She's flying the plane. She saved the engine. She's one of them. She's a pilot. The mother with the toddler clutched her child tighter, whispering prayers of gratitude for the woman in the cockpit. The businessman stopped muttering complaints and closed his eyes in silent awe. The college students recorded nothing, too consumed by the raw terror and the fragile thread of hope one passenger had offered. They didn't know Amelia's name, but they believed in her. The descent. Denver finally came into sight, lights twinkling like stars beneath the dark clouds. But the landing would be brutal. One engine dead, systems unstable, crosswinds punishing. The captain's voice trembled as he addressed the cabin, brace for impact. Amelia felt the weight of 150 lives pressing against her shoulders. She had left aviation behind once, but now it demanded her return. She steadied her breath, her father's necklace cool against her skin. Level at 5,000, she instructed. Trim for crosswind, keep it clean until final. The plane bucked violently, passengers screamed, but Amelia didn't flinch, her voice was a lifeline. Gear down, flaps at 15, don't fight the wind, ride it. The runway rushed up at them. Metal screamed, tires slammed. The plane skidded, veering, fighting to stay aligned. Sparks flashed from the failing engine. Hold it steady, Amelia cried, and then, impact gave way to stillness. The plane roared down the strip, shuddering, until it slowed, and stopped. Aftermath. For a moment, silence reigned. No one moved, no one breathed. Then cheers erupted, wild, raw, disbelieving cheers. The pilots slumped in their seats, exhausted but alive. They turned to Amelia, their eyes wide with something between gratitude and awe. You saved us, the captain whispered. Amelia shook her head, tears spilling. We saved each other. When she stepped out into the cabin, passengers reached for her hands, her shoulders. The mother wept openly. The businessman bowed his head. The college students clapped until their palms burned. To them, she was no longer a passenger. She was a miracle, a brother's embrace. Hours later, at the terminal, Amelia spotted him, her brother, Daniel, waiting with wide, frightened eyes. He had heard. News had spread already. He rushed to her, pulling her into the tightest embrace they had shared since childhood. You were the one they said saved the plane. Amelia choked on a laugh through tears. I just remembered who I was. Daniel held her closer. You're my sister. That's who you are. And I'm so damn proud. For the first time in years, their distance dissolved. Epilogue. Amelia never sought fame, though headlines followed. Passenger guides plane to safety. Teacher becomes hero at 30,000 feet. But she brushed them aside. For her, the real miracle wasn't that she saved a plane. It was that, for the first time since her father's death, she allowed herself to fly again, not just in the sky, but in her heart. And she knew she would never walk away from it again.